In the early days of the internet, before cybersecurity became an industry, one man slipped quietly into some of the world's most powerful systems, not to steal money, not to destroy data, but to look. His name was Adrian Lam, and years later, a single decision he made would divide the internet forever. To understand Adrian Lamo, you have to understand the time he lived in. This was the late 1990s and early 2000s. Companies rushed online faster than they learned how to protect themselves. Firewalls were weak. Passwords were reused. Security often meant trust. For a curious mind, it was an open invitation. Lamo wasn't a traditional criminal mastermind. He lived a transient life, sometimes homeless, often couch surfing or using internet cafes. He didn't hide in the shadows. In fact, he talked to journalists, to the public, to anyone who would listen. That openness would become both his identity and his undoing. Lamo didn't rely on complex malware. He relied on curiosity and weak perimeter security, public-facing systems, forgotten access points, poorly configured servers. He explored systems the way others explored cities, by wandering through unlocked doors, and sometimes he left messages behind, not to brag, but to prove he'd been there. His intrusions included some of the biggest names in tech and media, the New York Times, Microsoft, Yahoo. These weren't smash-and-grab attacks. They were quiet explorations that exposed how fragile digital trust really was. In 2003, the wandering stopped. Lamo was arrested for computer intrusions. The sentence wasn't extreme, probation and restitution, but the message was clear. Curiosity didn't excuse access. From that moment on, Lamo was no longer just a hacker. He was a public figure under a permanent spotlight. If you are enjoying this true life story, like and subscribe for more. Let's get back to the story. Years later, Lamo was contacted by Chelsea Manning. What followed was a private conversation, one that included admissions about classified leaks. Lamo made a choice. He reported the information to authorities. To some, he became a whistleblower. To others, a traitor. The internet never reached consensus. Was Lamo protecting national security or betraying a source who trusted him? The debate raged across forums, newsrooms, and activist circles. Some called him responsible. Others called him unforgivable. As reported by The Guardian, Lamo became one of the most controversial figures in modern hacking history. Adrian Lamo's story doesn't fit neatly into hero or villain. He exposed vulnerabilities, he crossed lines, he made a decision that changed lives, including his own. His legacy is uncomfortable, and that may be the point. Morals and lessons. There are lessons hidden inside this story. 1. Access is not permission. Curiosity does not erase responsibility. 2. Technology amplifies moral choices. Digital actions have real-world consequences. 3. Trust is fragile. Once broken, it reshapes lives forever. 4. Not every story has a hero. Some exist to challenge how we think about right and wrong. In the digital age, power doesn't always look like force. Sometimes it looks like information, and how we choose to use it defines us.